Analytics Daily gives you an opportunity to look at the number of accounts by state, by individual vendor, or premise type, and compare them to previous time periods. Once you click on Analytics Daily, what you see here is month to date. The current date is in the top left-hand corner. This is showing information for June 2nd, 2022. Using the blue section on the right under This Year, Last Year, Month to Date, we can either choose to go into the states, or we can look at the Discus Major category, or vendor, or any of the common codes that are within that area. We're going to start with a look at the 18 states. We can look at 9-liter cases month to date by clicking it and clicking Expand. Then we can see what the results are by state for June 2nd. We can choose an individual state, so if we click Alabama, we can see the total number of accounts that have been purchased this year versus last year, how many are totally new, and how many have lost, just in Alabama. At this point, we would want to look at an individual vendor, so on the right again, we can click on the Vendor tab in month to date. We can scroll through under Vendor, and we're going to look for Diageo and click on that. It is for June 2nd. They've sold 1,026 accounts, 583 are new, and 419 had purchased the previous year, but not this year. Going down, we can see the same down through R12. Back on the right, we can look at it now by common code, so we're going to click that. And now we see just Diageo common codes. If we expand the 9-liter month to date, we can look and see which codes have been purchased this year or just last year, and what the percentage change is month to date. Let's go back to the start and the first page of Analytics Daily. And this time, from the filter at the top, we're going to choose State. Click Alabama, and then click Done. This time, we're going to go to the right-hand side, click Discus Brand Family under the R12. That gives us alphabetically every brand family in Alabama. Alabama doesn't have wine, so it's just going to be spirits. Let's expand on the dollars. And we can see the R12 gives us a better picture than just month to date of how each of the individual brand families are doing. In this case, we're going to sort down in the R12, going from largest to smallest, and we can see then that Crown Royal is pretty much flat, and Hennessy is down. If we scroll down on Discus Brand Family and click on Malibu, we see R12 on the bottom. R12 lost accounts. We can see that over the period of 12 months, they sold 3,250 accounts versus 2,800 the previous 12 months. So it's a growth of 10%. 706 of those are new, but what we're going to look at is which ones did they lose. So we're going to click on the 340 lost accounts. We can expand the column, and we see that there are no accounts rolling 12 this year, but there are for rolling 12 last year, and in some cases some fairly large accounts. So we can look at one of the bigger ones. If we click on Athens Beverage Company, it gives us details of where the Athens Beverage Company is, Athens, Alabama, and because there are no sales, we can only look at last year. Let's go back again to the first Analytics Daily screen. This time, if we click Vendor at the top, it brings up a search feature. Rather than scroll through everything, we can just search what we want. So we'll type in BAC and choose Bacardi. Here we have a report for all states month to date for just one company, Bacardi. If you're the state manager in any of the states, you might want to choose the state to go to. Here we're going to use the filter again to choose Alabama. We'll use the premise filter to choose on-premise. There's limited data for the 9-liter cases for the month, since this example is for 2 days into the month, but under R12 you can see it's up 16%. If you're the on-premise manager for Bacardi in Alabama, you can look at this every day, and it will update by pressing the Sync button on the bottom of the screen. To check it every day, you can bookmark the page. At the top right, you see the 3 lines. Click that, and it gives you an area to type. We can call it Alabama On-Premise Daily, and click Create. It has been successfully created. From the main menu, you can go to the Bookmark Page button. There it is. You can click it, and it will take you to the update every day. You always need to sync every morning, and you can do that from the main menu page. There it is on the bottom. Then the daily report for the on-premise in Alabama is updated. You can set up as many of these as you want. You can have an on-premise, off-premise, combined, and so on. A quick recap here. From this main menu page, the first thing you do is click Sync to get the latest data update. Since we just did that, it'll happen quick, but it usually doesn't take more than a matter of seconds anyway. If we click Analytics Daily, you have filters at the top. Current date gives you today's date, but you can click on it and look at data for any previous day. Premise allows for the 3 different premise types: on-premise and off-premise in most states, or combined in a few states. The state filter allows you to filter on one or a group of states. If you're a manager in the Northeast, you can combine Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, for example, to look at the total. Beverage type allows you to choose all values, or just spirits, or just wines. Discus Major category brings up the 15 categories. You can either use the search feature, or just click on one or multiple. Class type name, you probably want to use the search feature for this one. For any of the wine companies that are going to use Gateway, there is no equivalent of the Discus Major category. You need to do it by TTB class name. And lastly, there's vendor. So you can choose any of the vendors that are in here. The blue section on the right is a dive. You can look at the beverage type, and if you click on the R12 number, it will take you to another page that gives you whatever you are diving on. The same is true of the Discus Major category. And you can expand, and when you do, the yellow section allows you to dive further in any of these categories. Class type name, just like at the top in the filters, takes you through all of the class types individually. You can expand and look at any of the dives in that section. And you can look at the vendor, and instead of focusing this page on one vendor, it's going to look at all the vendors on the left-hand side and their performance. You can look at R12 and sort up and sort down once you're in there. Discus Brand Family is a collection of all common codes under one brand family, and you can see all of the common codes as well.